This video is for you. If you feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, you're high, you're low, you're confident, you're anxious, you're bulletproof, you've just got no confidence about you whatsoever. And it's on this constant up and down cycle. And you're over it because it's not fun living like that. I lived like that for many, many years. And you're probably like me, and you probably tried doing a lot of things to fix it. I doubt you're sticking your head in the sand. You've probably tried going to therapy and trying counseling and talking to people about that stuff. You've probably tried getting away, going on holidays, trying to de-stress and all that sort of stuff. But every time you go and de-stress, when you come back to reality, all the fucking stress just comes straight back. You've probably tried the old escapism, like drinking, drugs. That was my thing. Used to go out on the weekend and blow my brains out, just so that I could stop thinking about all the crap that's going on. Because let's be honest, life right now, it's pretty stressful. I think we all know that. Over the last few years, things have got significantly more difficult. We've had coronavirus, the dreaded COVID. We've been shut down. We've been locked down. Business has been getting really, really tough for a lot of guys. Investments are all over the place. All you got to do is look at the stock market, the crypto market, real estate markets. Like everything's been going up, and now it's looking like it's going to be on a bit of a downturn. And then you look at like inflation, interest rates, all this stuff is going on. Like no wonder we're on this roller coaster, because 1 minute life's really, really groovy and we're on the up, and then the next minute something comes and kicks us in the balls, and all of a sudden we start feeling like crap. If you can resonate with this, I got something for you, and I think that it'll help you out. So we work with a lot of guys who are going through this emotional roller coaster. I mean, I lived like this for years. So going back a few years ago, I was very, very bipolar, right? And so I'd have, not very, very bipolar, but I was quite bipolar. So I'd be going highs. I'd have lots of highs with like days where I'd hardly sleep or not sleep at all, just work, crush it. And then after that, I'd have days where I was just low. I was exhausted. I was tired. I wasn't creative. I couldn't think clearly. My brain was super foggy. All I just wanted to do was sleep, and that was about it. And I lived like that for months and months and months on end. And there's literally nothing that would fix it at all. Like I tried, as I said, I tried all the things. I tried therapy. I tried counseling. I tried talking to people, talking to partners, talking to friends. I tried talking about it and trying to do that. I went on holidays. I took time off. I relaxed. I chilled out. I did the drugs. I did the drinking. I did all that sort of stuff to try and fix it, but nothing worked. Like nothing worked whatsoever. And as I later on found, well, there's a pretty good reason why nothing worked, right? It's because I wasn't hitting the root of the issue. If we look at why this happens, all of a sudden it all just starts making sense. The reason why, and this is like one of the most central components of our program, and why we've been so successful working with so many guys who are going through this sort of stuff, all the highs and lows. You've heard me talk about a lot of our dudes before. You've heard me talk about Nash. Heard me talk about Size. You've heard me talk about all these guys who've been through this. This is exactly how we've fixed it for them. Right? The most important thing that we need to understand is that the nervous system is at the root of all of this. In particular, there's a little area in our brain which controls our fear response, and our stress response. And what happens is when we start going on an up and up and up and up and up, our brain's producing heaps of dopamine. We feel really good. We're super confident. We're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And then we have one little thing which goes and sets us off. And this little area within our brain called the amygdala, it starts firing and it starts working really, really hard. And what the amygdala does is this is like our fear and our stress response. And it causes a hormonal cascade where we get a massive increase in adrenaline, massive increase in cortisol. And these have all these long-term effects, like all these cascading effects throughout the body, where it just feels like it's on a roll. And that's when you're on a downer, when you're coming on the way down, it feels like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It feels like it's just picking up more and more and more and more momentum. That's why, because all these hormones, all these stress hormones are going on, and it leaves you feeling burnt out. Because it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen a fighter before, like in a fight, like doing like MMA, UFC, anything like that. But you'll see them come out and they'll be going like really, really balls to the wall hard in the first round. And they'll be looking like they're on point. And then come the second, the third, the fourth round, they hit a wall. There's just a time where they hit a wall. It's called like an adrenaline dump, because they've just used all this adrenaline. They've just used all this energy. They've put all of it in, AKA the high. And then after it, you've been smashed by the low when it all comes crashing down. Does that make sense? And so whenever we're on this high and low, high and low. We've got dopamine, adrenaline, we're feeling really good, and then bang, it starts crashing back down again. It's going to create this roller coaster. And then what happens is we crash all the way back down again, and then our body begins to heal. We come on back up, and then bang, it just goes and it keeps coming up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's freaking exhausting. All of this is because of the nervous system, right? You got to know that the nervous system is the thing which regulates every single feeling, every single thought, every single action, every single thing throughout our body is all regulated by the nervous system. And so, like, cool. So the nervous system does this. Well, how do we fix it? What do we do? First thing, like, what we need to understand is how the nervous system works. So there's two parts to this nervous system that I'm referring to. It's a very specific part called the autonomic nervous system. There's a sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, okay? When we're stuck in this state of in the sympathetic nervous system, what ends up happening is we end up getting really, really stressed, right? We get really, really high. And then when we eventually crash, we just feel exhausted, right? And so we don't want to be in that sympathetic nervous system. We want to shift out of the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic. That is the cool, chilled out, relaxed, rest and digest. Now, think about this. You know those days where you wake up and everything's groovy? It's like everything you touch turns to gold. It's like you can make sales, you can run your business super well, you can lead your team really, really well. Like everyone you engage with, they just love you, right? I call it the Midas touch or God mode, right? Everything you touch turns to gold. It's like you're absolutely untouchable. That is when you're in the parasympathetic nervous system. When you're relaxed, you're chilled out, you're cool, calm, and collected. And that's where we want to shift to. And so one of the things that we do in our program is we help guys go through and shift this. And this is exactly how we do it, right? And this is the step by step. All right. Number one, if you want to fix this, this is what we need to do. Step number one, you need to have clarity. You need to be able to understand exactly how you want to live every single day. So if you're watching this right now, I want you to do this. I want you to write down exactly how you want to feel every single day. When you wake up in the morning, how do you want to feel? Throughout the day, how do you want to feel? What do you want to be able to do? How do you want to think? Do you want to be clear? Do you want to improve your memory? Like, what do you want to make better? We need to get crystal clear on exactly what you want to achieve. Because what we do here is once we know exactly where we want to be, we reverse engineer the rest. You are here right now. You want to be here. What is the gap? What is the difference? So we start up here. We start thinking, okay, I want to be like this right now. What changes do I need to make in order to get from here? And we start working backwards from there. Crystal clear clarity is the very first thing. So make sure that you're on top of that. Exactly how you feel, exactly how you want to be. Do you want to make more money? Do you want to increase the size of your business? Do you want to be able to hire more people, work less, have more freedom, spend more time with your kids? Like, what does that look like? Get crystal clear clarity. Because when we have this crystal clear clarity, this gets rid of one of the big distractions, the big issues that happens with a lot of people who are on the roller coaster, right? Whenever we're on the roller coaster, have you ever noticed that you get distracted by loads of stuff, right? Maybe when you're on this high, you take on all these work projects, right? That you didn't really need to take on, but you take them on anyway. Or have you ever noticed that you start overcommitting to things? Or maybe you party more than what you normally do. All these distractions start getting up. Whereas if we have clarity, we can put the blinders on and the blinkers on, and we know that all we need to do is get from here up to there. Does that make sense? Right? So that's the first thing, clarity. Second thing after that, structure, right? You need to make sure that you have structure behind getting from point A to point B, from where you are right now to where you want to be, aka your summit. We call where you want to be your summit, right? And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we have a crystal clear game plan to get us from here to here. So remember, we start with the summit, then we reverse engineer. So we say, okay, cool. I want to be making $5 million a year in turnover. I want to be at a 30% profit margin. I want to be able to have, 6-8 weeks off per year. And I only want to work 40 hours a week, right? 30, 40 hours a week, whatever it is. What are the steps that we need to do in order to make that happen so that that is a reality? How do we need to act? How do we need to be? How do we need to think? What do we need to do in order to make all of that happen? Right? So that's the very, very first thing. We must get crystal clear over that. Then after that, when we can come down, we can put in the structure that we need to follow in order to make that happen. So for all of our guys who come work with us, we set out that structure for them, right? So we make it so that we can get off this emotional roller coaster so that we can have stability. Because when we're on this emotional roller coaster, what we often see is that we're very, very inconsistent. And maybe you can relate to this. Maybe if you want to lose weight, for example, you diet for 3 days and then you don't diet, right? Or maybe if you want to be less anxious and you want to be more confident, you want to have more energy, maybe you'll meditate for a day, then not meditate for a day. Maybe you'll do breath work for a day and then not do breath work for a day. Maybe you'll drink loads of coffee one day, then not drink it. And there's no consistency whatsoever. And that just throws the body completely out of whack. Whereas when we have structure and we have a rigid program, we can do it every single day. And one of the principles that our structure and our program is based on is that we get you to just do 20 minutes per day, every single day. Because in the end of the day, one of the biggest mistakes, and this is one of the big roller coaster things, you've probably seen this with people who diet, right? You'll all let me know if you let me know in the comment section if you know someone like this. They go through and they start dieting, right? And they diet, and they lose a stack of weight. But they're so burned out, they're tired, they've been eating fuck all, and they're hungry, they've got so many cravings, they go and pig out. And so they've lost all this weight, and then bang, they just gain it back really quickly, and they get fat. And they say, okay, cool, well, I've got to get back to dieting again. So they diet, get fat, right? And it just keeps going on this up and down. It's because we don't have consistency, right? So we need to make sure that we're ultimately consistent. Then the final thing is we need to make sure that we actually have accountability and support and people around us. One of the things that I'm most proud of, like with our crew, is we have some incredible coaches, right? Really, really incredible people who bend over back and go well and truly above. Like at the moment, we're building out some dope stuff to help every single person who works with us save $6,000 per year. And then on top of that, how to get a pay rise and how to make way more sales. So everyone who's an employee, pay rise, everyone who runs a business, how to dramatically increase the size of their business, right? And so what we do there with our guys is we make sure that whenever we have somebody work with us, you have an accountability buddy, or not accountability buddy, a coach, a mentor, a guide, someone to help you through this, someone who can say, hey, you're a little bit too high, let's bring you back down. Hey, you're a little bit too low, let's bring you back up. You're not being consistent. And having someone who can keep you on the straight and narrow all the time and be there to make it so that you follow the structure and you follow it through. There are 3 levels of accountability: self-accountability, coach accountability, group accountability. The thing with self-accountability, that's what a lot of people depend on, right? Is, oh, I'm just going to look after me. Like, I'm going to do it. I'll keep myself accountable. I'll make sure that I make it work. Well, it doesn't really happen that often, right? It just doesn't work like that. And so what we need to do is we need to have a coach and a group around us who are going to hold us accountable. So what we do is for everyone who works with us, we give them a coach, and we also bring them into our community. A coach so that they can give them a high five when they win, give them a kick up the ass when they lose, or when they're not doing the appropriate thing, when they're not acting in accordance with getting from A to B, and that they're not following our reverse engineered structure, but also a group so that they can be a part of something bigger, and so that they have a crew and a team around them all the time. That's one thing that we're really, really proud of at JCF with our crew, is that our community is fucking awesome. Like, they're incredible. For all of you guys who are clients, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, it's awesome. It's so cool to be a part of. And so that's really the way that we do it. Number 1, we get crystal clear clarity. Number 2, we reverse engineer and build out a structure. Number 3, we make sure there's accountability so you follow through and execute and hit your goals. And that's exactly what you need to do if you want to fix this. If you want to get off the emotional roller coaster, those 3 things are what you need to do. Number 1, clarity, get clear on where you want to be. Number 2, have a structure, know how you've got to act every single day, and be consistent, because the inverse of being on a roller coaster is total consistency, right? So we need to have that consistent plan. And then the next thing after that is having accountability and people who are surrounding you and backing you so that you can absolutely crush it, right? If you want to learn more about this and what we do, you can either comment down below, reach out to me, shoot me a DM, or click on one of the links, depending on what platform you're watching. Click on one of the links and you can fill out the form and apply to get some more information on our program and how it works, because we've worked with 7,000 people, like over 7,000 people now, right? This shit works. We've been doing it for years. When you start working with the nervous system, when you start applying accountability, structure, and clarity to yourself, you'll be able to get off that roller coaster really, really quickly, and you'll be able to absolutely dominate. Most of the guys who work with us and who benefit from this in particular, business owners, a lot of guys in business, it's tough at the moment. It's very, very difficult. Things are all over the shop right now. If you're a business owner, this will be extremely helpful for you. If you ever feel like you're up and down, you're high and you're low and you're all over the shop, this will be incredibly helpful for you. If you feel like there's something that's just holding you back, and like, if you could just get rid of this roller coaster, you would be freaking unstoppable. Like, you would be able to absolutely dominate. This is going to be super, super helpful for you. If you tick any of those boxes at all, then it's worthwhile just commenting down below, reaching out to us, or clicking on the link. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. On that note, crew, I'll leave you all to it. If you have any questions at all, just reach on out, click on the link below, fill out the form. We'll speak to you soon.